Hello guys, here's Bogdan to inspire. Welcome to the third part of the hockey series. First, create a few more classes. First will be entity and put it in the .game objects package. And the second one will be pack. And the third one will be player. First, create an entity, so entity will have public double x and y, and public int width and height, and public sprite, and public int radius, public double mass is equal to 1.0 f, and import sprite. And we are gonna also have two more doubles, well x and well y for velocity x and y. Public entity double x double y and sprite this dot x is equal to x, this dot y is equal to y, this dot width is equal to sprite dot width, this dot height is equal to sprite dot height, this dot sprite is equal to sprite, and radius is equal to width divided by 2. And this class will have this is a template class for pack and player, so both have to have void update and public void render. Now going to pack, and it extends entity, and the same with player. Go first in the pack, and this one will have a constructor. So here we are not have to add anything else, but if you have like to change a mass of a pack, you can change it here. I'm gonna just set it to 1.0 again. And this will have an update and render method, so public void update and void x plus equals well x and y plus equals well y if x is less than 0, x is equal to 0, and x times equals -1. Copy paste this one more time and change this to x plus width is greater than hockey dot width, and now copy paste this one more time and change this to y, and this to y, and this to y and height, and this as well to hockey dot height and y and y. And now set velocity y or x times equals 0.992. That is going to be friction. We could store it in a variable, but it's okay for now. Public void render renderer dot render sprite at x position and cast it to integer for y as well. This is friction, so the bool starts stopping when error, always actually. Now I'm going to the player class and create a constructor. This constructor will have a few more variables, so int left, int right, int up and int down. Now create these variables up here. Public double max for max velocity is equal to 6.0. Public double acceleration is equal to 0.3. Private int left, right, up and down, and public random rand is equal to new random. Now here set this dot left is equal to left is equal to left. This dot right is equal to right. This dot up is equal to up. This dot down is equal to down. And now create an update and render. Public void update and public void render. Going to the entity, and this should be update, not updates. Now these icons should appear because we are overriding the methods in the backend player. Here we're going to have moving logic, a new method, and in the renderer we're gonna renderer dot render sprite at int x and int y. Now let's go into the moving logic. First, if keyboard dot key is equal to left, so left, and it is not keyboard dot key right, if velocity x is greater or equal to minus max velocity x is minus equals acceleration. Now copy paste this one more time and change this to right and this to left, and here it is going to be less than or equal to and plus equals acceleration. Now we have to make another check. If keyboard dot key left and keyboard key right, or let's make braces. Going on the new line and copy paste this again here. And both these should be not. This means that we haven't pressed or left or right, or we pressed both at the same time. So if math.abs stands for absolute velocity x is less than 0.1, then velocity x is equal to 0. Otherwise, if velocity x is greater than 0.0, velocity x minus equals 0.05, and copy paste this. Else if velocity is greater than 0.0, we're gonna plus equals, or it is the other way around, probably less, and here it should be greater. On this line, and that looks right. Now we have to copy paste this for up and down as well. So paste up, so all lefts change to up and all rights to down. Now change this to y, all velocity x to velocity y. And this should work. Now here we have to set x plus equals velocity x and y plus equals velocity y, and if x is less than 0, x is equal to 0 and velocity x times equals minus 0.5. So we lose some speed when we bump on the wall, and do the same with if x plus width is greater than hockey dot width. Do the same, but set x to hockey dot width minus width, and copy paste this and change it for y as well, because our player should bounce off every wall. And y and height, and this should be height, and y and y. Now going to the, there's an error somewhere. Going to the pack, and here we shouldn't have hockey dot width minus width, and check it out now. Of course it won't work yet, and we probably don't need this because our pack should just bounce off the left and the right wall, and it shouldn't of the top and bottom wall. Now going to the game class, here we will have our players. So public static player and player 2 import player, and now public static pack public static int score for player 1 and score for player 2. In the init method we're gonna have our variables initialized, so player is equal to new player of hockey dot width divided by 2 minus sprite dot player dot width divided by 2, and hockey dot height divided by 2 minus sprite dot player dot height divided by 2 plus 250, let's say this, and key event dot vk underscore this first is left, I guess. Go into the player and check it out. So left, right, up and down, left, right, up and down. So A is left, and copy paste this 3 more times. And change it to D and W and S. What is wrong? Double sprite int. Sprite is missing, so sprite dot player, and now copy paste this for player 2 and change this to left wiki underscore left and right and up and down. And now peg is equal to new peg. It should be at the middle, so we can copy paste this and sprite.pack. And now go into the update method, and in the update method first delete all those and set player dot update and copy paste this 2 more times, and this is player 2 and this is pack. Now if peg dot y is plus peg dot just y plus peg dot height is less than 0, we're gonna increment score for player 1, so plus, and call init method to start from 0, and copy paste this and change this to is greater than hockey.height, and we increment score player 2. Now let's go to the bottom, and in the render method we're gonna render players. So player dot render, copy paste this 2 more times to player 2 and back, and this should be it for here. And we're gonna also render our scores. G.set rendering hints to rendering hints dot key anti-aliasing and dot value anti-aliasing on. This is going to make our fonts better looking. G.set color to new color, and 0x FF19341 and true. Import color, and it should be like this. Now G.set font to a new font, Verdana, and 1 and 50. String player 1 p1 is equal to string plus game dot score 1, or just score 1. We don't really need them to be static now. p2 and score player 2, and now int p1w, which is the width of the player 1 score. So get font matrix dot string width of p1 and divided by 2, so it is going to be just half of the width. Copy paste this and change this to p2 and this to p2w, and now we have to render both. So g.draw a string and p1 at hockey dot width divided by dot width times hockey times scale point scale divided by 9 minus p1w divided by 80 minus, copy paste this, change this to 2 and this to player 2, and here we're gonna have times 8. So 1 is going to be on the left side and 1 on the right. Now write and check it if it works like this, and first change this to minus. Go into the player class and change this to max velocity, and here it should be also just max velocity. Now check if it works. The controls are working fine, and in the next video we are gonna handle the collision. So thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next one.